Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Thursday, the 11th day of May, 2023. I hope you're all safe and healthy today, and that your family is safe and healthy, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, who, along with the first responders, out here every day saving lives. And those that pick up garbage for us to keep our places, our streets, our neighborhoods clean and disease free. And those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women that are out here trying to help rescue and deliver the teenagers and children that are the victims of child molestation, abuse, and pedophilia. Those also who are victims of prostitution and child prostitution, pornography, child pornography, human trafficking, sex, slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators of these things. Double curses on the profiteers of these things. And double curses on the perverts that create the demand from which the other perverts provide the supply. Finally, blessings upon the homeless. There are nearly 600,000 men, women, and children, mostly children, homeless in the United States of America and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. Last night, the New York Knicks played a basketball game against the Miami Heat and beat the Miami Heat in Madison Square Garden, 112-103. This game was very important on a number of levels. Number one, it keeps the Knicks season alive. Coming into the game, they were down 3-1 to the Miami Heat, and being that they won this game, it's now 3-2, with the series now shifting to Miami on Friday. Now, other important things here. We wanted to see some adjustments from Tom Thibodeau. He inserted Quentin Grimes into the starting lineup. That was this past Monday. But the difference this time is that Quentin Grimes was guarding Jimmy Butler most of the game. Now, Jimmy Butler still had a tremendous game. Jimmy Butler, but he shot 5 of 12 from the field, 0. He took 0 3-pointers, 9 of 11 from the free throw line, 7 boards, 9 assists, 19 points. Nice stat line, obviously, but not his usual stat line. Jimmy Butler's been averaging over 30 points a game in the playoffs, and he's been killing the Knicks, but not when Q-Dog was on. That was a major difference last night. Quentin Grimes guarding Jimmy Butler and then stealing the ball from him on one leg in the fourth quarter also. That was a major adjustment. Josh Hart is just having a very bad series against the Miami Heat. He's not a bad player. He's just having a bad series. He had a great series against Cleveland while Q-Dog hurt his shoulder. There was some knucklehead talking about, trying to blame Tibbs. At every, chance people get, they try to blame Tibbs, though the Knicks are in the second round of the playoffs. But this is another one of them. Well, he was pulled from the starting lineup. No, he wasn't pulled from the starting lineup. Q-Dog hurt his shoulder in the Cleveland series. And Josh Hart filled in more than adequately in that series and helped the Knicks beat Cleveland in 5 games. When they were winning like that, it is Tibbs' habit to stick with what's working. So that's why he didn't immediately change the starting lineup until Monday. And then we saw now Q-Dog is back in his normal starting position. But the problem was on Monday, too much Josh Hart. Josh Hart's not playing well this series. He can't guard Kyle Lowry. He can't even guard, obviously, Jimmy Butler. He can't really stay with his man too well. He's having a problem against Miami in this series. So last night was fortunate in that he got in foul trouble, which caused Tom Thibodeau to play Q-Dog 48 minutes along with Jalen Brunson. That was extremely important. Now, we wanted to get some Deuce McBride. We didn't get any Deuce McBride. Okay, I'm not the coach, but he played, that is Tom Obi Toppin, 12 minutes. Obi Toppin played 12 minutes, and in those 12 minutes, he got 6 very important rebounds, okay? Very important. And during the time when the Knicks made a run and stretched the lead to 18, it was Toppin, it was Hartenstein, it was Grimes, it was Barrett, it was Brunson. And they were killing Miami last night. in that stretch in the second and third quarter. And the thing was, because basically Toppin plays better defense than Julius Randle. By the way, congratulations to Julius Randle, second time in 3 seasons, All NBA. Of course, they robbed our guy Brunson, but second time in 3 seasons, All NBA. And let me also point this out again: it's not coincidental that it's in the Tom Thibodeau 3 seasons that he accomplished this. It's not coincidence. Therefore, but with that being said, Obi Toppin is the better defender, and it showed last night. Yes, we got a tremendous contribution from Juju. 24 points. He had 5 assists and 5 boards. He still had 4 turnovers, but that's Juju. But the thing is that he was still playing center field on defense sometimes. He was still lost on defense, but Miami turned the ball over. Let's see, they turned the ball over 12 times last night. Not a lot, but it was enough to cover up those defects. So, and then Julius did not have to guard Jimmy Butler. But the Heat had the nerve to try to have Jimmy Butler guard Julius. That is a mismatch. And Julius took advantage of it most of the time. Got whacked in the eye. You know, his right eye was almost swollen shut. Seemed to help his shooting, though, because homie was shooting pretty well, you know, overall. 7 of 13 from the field. But the key was having Grimes play 48 minutes and having him guard Jimmy Butler. That was the key. And then giving Toppin in that second unit, that mob deep unit. They didn't score a lot last night. They only scored 6, 7, 8 points. But it was that run that included Brunson, included RJ with Grimes, Toppin, Hartenstein, that really made the difference. As soon as Hart came in the game last night, every time, the Heat made a run. Okay? He's just, like I said, I'm not trying to say he's a bad player. He's a perfect bench piece. But he just is having a bad series against the Heat. He just really is. And so the injury to Emmanuel Quickly and the foul trouble of Hart conspired to put the Knicks' best squad on the floor without McBride. But the Knicks' best squad was on the floor. He played McBride for 1 minute, and in the 1 minute he played him, they got a very key stop, which they would get more of if they can continue to play him. But again, that's another story. So I am very happy. Last night, they tried to hack a Mitch, and I thought a team was going to do that. And Miami is that type of team. Smart, high IQ, Eric Spoelstra smart. I knew they were going to eventually try that, and they did. And homie started knocking down those foul shots. He knocked them down just to say, oh, you going to foul me? Boom, that was good motivation. He was 4 of 8 from the foul line, but in the fourth quarter, he was 4 of 6. That was tremendous. And then, of course, 5 offensive boards from Mitchell Robinson. Too much for Kevin Love. And the key reason, some people just, don't understand what's going on. So let me explain it to you. It's not that Mitchell Robinson wasn't trying, as people try to say, well, finally he showed up. No, he's been playing. But the problem is he hasn't been getting any help. Last night, look at this. Juju got 5 boards. Not a lot, but Brunson had 9 boards. RJ had 7 boards. I mentioned Toppin had 6. Hartenstein had 6. 4 for Grimes. It was a team effort when everybody is involved. And the Knicks weren't playing their best even on the boards. They weren't consistently putting bodies on people, particularly Brunson and Brandel. But they were much better last night, and they out-rebounded the Heat 50 to 34 by 16 boards. Okay? And that unleashes Mitchell Robinson. When the whole team is gang rebounding like that, that unleashes Mitch Rob to become the best Mitch Rob that he could be. And 11 boards, 5 on the offensive end last night. And he didn't get any blocks, but he definitely was altering shots, especially for Bam Adebayo. He was doing a tremendous job last night on the defensive end of the floor. So was Quentin Grimes. He only got 8 shots. But his shots came in the early part of the game. And what happened, him knocking down them threes, opened the floor. So that Miami had to pay attention to him. Because I'm telling you, if they was to give Q-Dog open shots like they do with Josh Hart, like they do with RJ, if they was to give Q-Dog them open shots, he'd be dropping 20. And they know it. That's why they back off a little bit. And usually they was packing the paint and putting 3 guys at Brunson. Last night there was 1 or 2, which is no. Brunson can handle you in that situation. Of course, he goes off 12 of 22 from the field, 4 of 10 from 3, 10 of 12 from the free throw line, 9 boards, 7 assists, 38 points. That's playoff Jalen Brunson. And it opened up with Q-Dog on his wing. Okay, this is what we were talking about from last season, last summer. People talking about, well, no, we need to start Fournier for the shooting. No, you need defense, especially next to Jalen Brunson, and shooting, which you get in spades from Quentin Grimes. I'm so happy he played 48 minutes last night. That was really the key to me and opened up the game for Brunson, who did work. But if you had Josh Hart out there, they'd lost this game. No doubt, they'd lost this game. Okay, so another key here. This is the first time in the series. Now, they've been doing it in the season, but in the playoffs now, this is the first time the Knicks beat the Heat with healthy Jimmy Butler playing. Okay, and again, the key is Quentin Grimes guarding. Okay, they even had RJ on him a little bit, which is good. That was good. RJ is, people don't understand. But Butler's a pretty big, strong dude. I mean, he's 6'7", 230, at least 225, solid. He's strong dude. And he's highly intelligent basketball-wise and knows how to use his. I mean, look, even in a game where we saying he barely held, he still was 19 points, 9 assists, 7 boards. The dude is bad dude. And 4 steals, 2 blocks. Yeah, Butler's all that. So, but Q-Dog limited him. And because Q-Dog was limited him, the Knicks were better at getting out on Miami's shooters. Now, Brunson still, to me, gets lost too often on defense, and so does Randall, too often. So, but look, Miami's been shooting between 29 and 33% the whole series. It ain't like they've been lighting it up. They one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the league. It's just that the Knicks were even worse, and they weren't playing the defense, packing the paint the way they should. Butler was killing us, okay? So last night they did, as I mentioned, and Miami shot 30%. Miami been shooting in this range. This ain't no surprise. But last night the Knicks shot 38%. And the key there, again, is Grimes. Grimes causing the defense to have to respect him, which caused Brunson to have open lanes and RJ to have open lanes. That's what was happening last night. Speaking of RJ, 8 of 17 from the field, 3 of 8 from the three-point line, 7 of 8 from the line, 7 boards, 2 assists, 26 points, plus 17. I told y'all, RJ is the second coming of Jimmy Butler. He's only 22. Give him a couple of years. You're going to see it clearly. RJ is Broadway Barrett, big-time player. Big time on the biggest stage in pro basketball at MSG. Yeah, he's going to be all right. I mean, he still makes some dumb, silly mistakes. You know, he's a kid. But 4 turnovers last night. But even Quentin Grimes had 4 turnovers last night, which is really uncharacteristic of Q-Dog. He don't be making a whole bunch of turnovers. Okay, he's very careful with the ball. But he had a couple last night. But still all good, though. So it was a tremendous team effort. They beat Butler and the Heat in playoffs, which is first time. So now the pressure is on Miami. The pressure's on Miami. They cannot lose Friday. If they lose Friday and have to come back to New York for Game 7, they don't want to do that. Just put it this way. They don't want to do that. So they must eliminate the Knicks Friday, which means the Knicks must follow the same game plan. They got to have Q-Dog on Butler. And last night, they were running Butler through screens, through all over the court to try to get Q-Dog off him. The boy was like fly paper, man. He wasn't, he was all on them all night long, 48 minutes. So we got to continue that. That's a very big key. Also, the Knicks had 23 assists last night, which is not tremendous, but for the Knicks it is. Ball movement was key, very key, especially one thing I liked about what Randall was doing, one thing I liked about what RJ was doing. If you notice, they weren't holding the basketball. The one time RJ did it, he turned it over, okay? They were moving the ball. They was getting the ball, making a quick decision, and moving the basketball. That has to continue. Okay, so defensively, you really need Quentin Grimes. Quentin Grimes is the key here because Jimmy Butler is the key for the Heat. I mean, he really is the key. So if you get Jimmy Butler with a Grimes on him and you do exactly what you did last night, where you have RJ, not Hart, RJ coming in behind him, and really, honestly, I would rather Deuce get Hart's minutes right now because he would play better defense. But I don't know if Tibbs is going to do that. I don't want Hart getting no more than the 9 or 10 minutes he got last night because he hurts the Knicks right now. He's a liability offensively and defensively now, where he would usually be strong. He's a liability there as well, and he's not hitting the boards the way he normally does. He's just out of sync against Miami. I don't know what it is. Maybe Miami's just his kryptonite. I don't think every team is, but maybe Miami is. So a little light on the Hart. And I was telling you earlier, I think he was depending too much on Josh Hart. Hopefully he fixed that problem last night. So now on Friday, we got to have Q-Dog on Jimmy Butler. Hopefully his legs are. I think he just bumped knees last night. That was a tremendous play. Bump knees, hobble back. You want to see somebody that's playing defense compared to Julius Randle? Look at Quentin Grimes. I told y'all, the best perimeter defender we got. He hobbles back in front of Jimmy Butler, stays in front of him, and gets the steal. That's got to be one of the defensive plays of the year for the Knicks. And it helped save the game. Hopefully that and he is all right. I think he is. Q-Dog's tough young boy. Be back on Friday, ready to go 48 again. He's going to need to. And then, of course, Brunson looked healthy last night. I saw him before the game sprinting up and down the court. So the ankle looked pretty good, okay? And, of course, he was, because the floor, it don't need to be opened up a lot for him because he's that good. But with Q-Dog on the wing like that, it was. So I'm wondering how Miami's going to counter this. Now, last night, one of the counters was Kyle Lowry, but he was in foul trouble. He had 5 fouls last night. That was good. I'm really a little bit concerned about Lowry. I'm not concerned as much about Kevin Love. I really was never. He's just a little, he's that last piece to put that nail in the coffin. That's what he's been doing. But I'm not worried about him changing the game. Lowry can. For 15, 20 minutes a game, he can create havoc. And so him being in foul trouble last night was a real good thing. I can't expect that to happen again in Miami. So we got to get an answer for him. So I don't know. I'd love to have McBride out there because I wouldn't worry about Kyle Lowry at all if Deuce was on. I mean, at all, because Deuce would put the blanket on him. But I don't know. And Brunson, if you watch the game, Brunson consistently gets lost on defense. Last night, he must have thought he was a center fielder. He kept staying under the basket, and his man usually was Strus or Duncan Robinson floating around. And Duncan Robinson was the one that brought them back in the game last night. So we got to get some better awareness defensively. Like I said, I know Brunson's weak defensively. And I also know, man, look at this plus minus, he was +9. Why? Because he scored 38. Okay, so he's going to overcome the defensive deficiency with his offensive prowess. When he's not scoring, it becomes a problem. But I think with Q-Dog next to him like that, I think we got something here. And Tom Thibodeau's going to stick with that. He ain't going to mess it up because he already, like I said, he sticks with what works. And this is the first time they beat the Heat with Jimmy Butler in this series. Now, they're going to have to beat the Heat on the road. Now, isn't this ironic when you think about it? During most of the regular season, the Knicks were better on the road than they were at home. And in this series, though, the 2 wins that they got were at MSG. So if they can return to the road warriors they have been all year, we'll beat Miami on Friday. But it's going to be tough. I would love, again, for Deuce McBride to get some minutes because that would help ensure this defense. That's the key here. Miami is not a very efficient offensive team. They weren't even that way during the season. They just weren't the best offensive team in the season. Matter of fact, when you look at let me look at the stats right here. The Miami Heat scored 109.5 points a game and gave up 108.5 points a game. The New York Knicks scored 116 and gave up 113. They're not really they're not, I wouldn't call them an offensive juggernaut by any stretch of the imagination. Matter of fact, when you look at the Eastern Conference, as far as offensive points per game, they dead last. Dead last. Okay? So, I mean, That's what I'm saying. They're not the best offensive team, but their defense in the playoffs has been tremendous, and they've been riding Jimmy Butler, as they should. So you cut the head of the snake off by putting Q-Dog on Jimmy Butler. And all we need then is the refs to not mess this up and put Q-Dog in foul trouble with some stupid call. You keep two Q-Dog in that game on it, we in good shape. And then if you add Deuce, if you pull the Deuce card, game over, okay? You pull the Deuce card and put that on the table, it's over. But I don't know if he's going to do that. Like I said, I don't know if he's going to do that. But I do know he's going to play Q-Dog. I do know Brunson's looking a lot better on that ankle. And if Julius is good juju, which means just give me some defense, bro, move that basketball, we in good shape, man. We in good shape because RJ's going to show up. I can guarantee you that. RJ's going to show up. There's no doubt about it. RJ's going to be ready for Miami on Friday. Forget it, okay? Obi, if you give him the minutes, he'll be ready on Friday. Like I said, that's up to Tibbs. But anyway, I'm really happy. If the season were to end on Friday, and I hope it doesn't, but if it were to end on Friday, the Knicks finish the season good. They finished the season strong. Y'all should be proud of the Knicks. And all of y'all still talking that fire Tibbs, trade this, trade that one. Y'all need to just shut up because y'all know what you're talking about. This team has overachieved. There was no way they were supposed to be in the second round this year. There was no way they were supposed to be fifth in the East. I had them pick 6. And so they doing good. And don't let them beat Miami on Friday. If they have no business doing that. Miami's supposed to close this out now. But if they don't, we're going to have a lot to talk about this weekend. Well, win or lose, we're going to have a lot to talk about this weekend. So anyway, bask in this victory, Knicks Nation. Enjoy the journey because it's running nice right now. So